Now, I think the Seahawks are going to win. I think they're going to win. I said that all week long, but I said, I think this is going to be pretty close and then could fall apart in the fourth quarter. The Arizona Cardinals had been one of the league's stingier defenses in the first quarter, and in particular in the first half of games. They rank in the top 5 first half in limiting scoring from opponents. And then they kind of fall apart in the fourth quarter. So that was the game that I expected. No, Bump. That's not the game we got. What we got was a second consecutive blowout win for the Seahawks.
Humans. Like, I love stats because it paints a picture for you. It's like, okay, this is what it could be. All right, this is what they've been all year. But then something happens that you've never seen before in Seahawks history. You get 2 scooping scores by D-Law, Tyrese Knight hitting the quarterback. Like, those 14 points, that's what, to me, what won the game for these dudes. It's like, look, I think they're going to win the game regardless, but you get back-to-back scores from your defense early in the game that put you up 21-0. The Cardinals don't have the firepower to come back from that. So, yeah, it's the numbers let you go into the game with a plan. With, okay, how am I going to watch this? What am I looking for? What do I expect? But then the humans go out there and just jack it all up. And Tyrese Knight and D-Law hooking up twice, jacked it all up. Sam Darnold coming out once again in the first drive of the game and finding JSN and putting a scoring drive together, jacked it all up. And then there's a point where the Cardinals just don't have enough. Like, Jacoby Brissett is a decent quarterback, right? He was sacked 5 times, hit like 10 to 12 times. They just didn't have enough. If they were able to hang around and maybe they put up a score after one of those scooping scores, it might be a different story, man. But no, the Hawks came out and took care of a team that they're supposed to take care of. My prediction, my score prediction was 28-10. And I mean,
they did get 28 in the first half.
Yeah, they got 20 in the first half.
So you're right.
And I think most of the guys on the pregame show had it like a 1-score game. I think I was the only one who had a 2-score win. But yeah, man, it's when you get 2 scores on defense, you're supposed to win that game.
Yeah. Speaking of those 2 scores, the Seahawks defense entering this week was the only defense in football to not have forced or recovered a fumble on defense. I saw some people going, but what about last week? They've actually forced and recovered a couple fumbles on special teams. But on defense, they were a really, really good defense who just for some reason, that fumble stat had been evading them all season long. So I think maybe they were like making up for lost time. Mike McDonald talked about those 2 fumble return touchdowns.
I couldn't believe that D-Law got the second one. I was like, holy crap, it's him again. But the way that he attacked the ball tonight is just awesome. I mean, we haven't forced any fumbles yet all this year on defense, and we got 2 today. So it's awareness. It's just taking advantage of those opportunities was awesome.
Again, the defense has been absolutely exceptional in so many ways, particularly when it comes to bringing pressure. That defensive front is the best I've seen it in years. But it was just kind of a thing that they needed to check off. And when they did it the first time, you thought, okay, great, fantastic. And then with not the exact same play, you'll talk about it later, but the same guys involved, that was just rinse and repeat in the funniest way.
Yeah, that was crazy. I couldn't believe it. I just laughed. I was sitting next to B. Walt during the game, and I just looked at him and shook my head, and I'm like, are they that good? Are they really that good? I tweeted out, I go, I haven't seen a team that's dominant since. I'm not going to say, but y'all feel me. I don't think they're there, but that's the feel watching that game was reminiscent of those guys. I'm not saying they are those guys, going to be those guys. You got a big game this week. You got to take care of the Rams. But I'm questioning, are they that good? We get to find out this week. But so far, every week it seems like they've done something that we haven't seen before, or they've just added on to something. JSN continues to break records every single week. You got D-Law doing something that no one's done in franchise history. Only 4 players in the history of the league has done what he did the past week. Sam Darnold is still throwing darts. I mean, there was a rollout during the first drive to where most quarterbacks probably would have thrown an interception on that rollout to JSN going to his left side. Yeah, there's just it's fun to watch this team. And I'm starting to believe, but this week is going to tell me a lot.
I want to stick on Sam Darnold. The Rams also had a very dominant win, and they did it in a different way. It's not that their defense wasn't also really, really good, but it was very clearly a dominant day from Matthew Stafford, who threw for 4 touchdowns, was pretty accurate on the day. Not crazy in terms of passing yards, but just like a few darts in there and just some exceptional plays. So Matthew Stafford was the story coming out of that Rams win. I don't know that Sam Darnold, who was certainly the story last week against the Commanders, was the story coming out of this one. And so my question for you is, I'm keeping it very simple. Can you describe Sam Darnold's day? Because it's a slightly different day for Sam Darnold than it was against the Commanders, where he was clearly all but perfect.
You know, you have a a group project, and Stacy, you're probably the leader. Your group project's the organizer, the person who gets it done, keeps everyone in line. But then there's a part of the project where you feel like, all right, well, this person suits this area best. Let that person take the charge. Sam Darnold was typically the guy who was the organizer, who gets everyone going, and he still was in this game. But the defense was like, hey, yo, we got this. We got this. Like, you still do your thing, Sam Darnold. You still be efficient throwing the football. You still make your big plays to JSM, get Cooper Kupp the rock. Look, still run this thing, but let us lead the charge. Let us get in front and open this thing up. And I think that's what he did. He didn't have to do that much. And then I'm so mad at his interception. I'm so mad at that because that was not his fault.
You're weird. You know what's weird is last week's interception was totally on him. Bad decision, bad throw, poor placement, and then otherwise he was perfect. This week's turnovers in general were weird turnovers. But if you didn't watch the game and you're just a Sam Darnold hater, like I saw this whole thread of Vikings fans debating whether or not they should have hung on to Darnold because obviously they had a bad loss. You saw people going, well, Sam Darnold had 3 turnovers. I don't feel bad. And it's like, if you didn't watch the game at all, that was a bad line.
That interception that he threw, obviously A.J. Barner was getting pushed back, hits his helmet. JSN was wide open. He was going to hit him going across the middle. The fumble, new center, you know what I mean? You're trying to get your chemistry right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not making excuses, but you're right. If you watch the game, you understand that, all right, it's not what it seems. And that's another example of stats like kind of playing tricks on you, lying to you. But no, I think Sam did enough. He opened up the presentation, got things rolling. The defense said, I got it from here, and I'm just going to sprinkle in enough plays to keep this defense on their heels. Sam did enough. Here's the thing. Last week we're talking about him being in the MVP race. Now he's not. Like, he's not this week. Right? You have those turnovers. You don't put up the big numbers. You're not in the race. That's why every week is going to change. But Matthew Stafford, on the other hand, he is in the lead this week, and it's a week-by-week type of thing. But no, Sam did what he's supposed to do, and I think that he would say it's all about winning ball games. And this is an example of, like, listen, I might have had the most explosive game. I did have 2 good plays. Well, one to Cooper Kupp for about 60. You got another one to JSN to about 40-something. But we did enough to win, and I did enough to contribute.
Let's talk about the offense. You could, in theory, extend scoring back to that game against the Houston Texans. It was 27 points, but the most that the Texans had allowed. There were some defensive plays in there, though. That one also a weird day by Darnold. So let's look at the last 2 weeks and isolate that. Since the bye, 38 points against the Washington Commanders, 44 against the Arizona Cardinals, and a part of Arizona, even though there were 2 scoop and scores, is still good plays by the offense. So after the game, Sam Darnold was asked, hey, what's been the key to these offensive outbursts over the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, again, I think just, the detail that we put in throughout the week is what makes it happen. Our offensive line, getting things started with the run game and, being able to, open up that play action pass game. The drop back pass game I felt like was pretty good as well. Third downs, again, converting some of those, third and mediums was huge today, especially early in the game. And then, I can't say enough about our defense. The way our defense comes out there every game, it seems like, I feel like they do a really good job, and, I feel very, just lucky to play with a team like this and with a defense like this as well.
From Mike Renner, who tweeted this at halftime yesterday, the Seahawks have gotten out to 28-0 leads in back-to-back games. That's only the 3rd time it's happened in the Super Bowl era. Bump, what's going on with the offense?
The offense is efficient. They are influential. They make the defense have to respect everything that they're doing. They manipulate the second and third levels. And Sam Darnold is extremely accurate. And you get just enough from these running backs. You still had 2 explosive runs by K9. He had what was this long today? Yesterday. Anyway, 2 explosive runs by K9. You're efficient inside the 10. You got a touchdown by Zach Charbonnet, another one by Halani. The numbers aren't going to wow you, even though they did rush collectively for 198 yards. Should be over 200, but those kneel downs take away that. They make you respect everything. That's the best thing about this. And they got a new toy out there. And I'm going to talk about the day that he had and what I liked about it. But the versatility of this offense is fun to watch.
Let's talk about the run game. Their 2 best performances on the ground this season have both been against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, it seems silly, like very much staring a gift horse in the mouth energy to say it doesn't matter if it's against the same team. But, Bump, does it matter if it's against the same team? Or did we feel like some of those run game concerns were answered in this one given the day they had? Or is it still a question?
I think it can still be a question, but when you run the ball 46 times, I hope you're around 190 to 200 yards. I'm only threw the ball 12 times. And that was just the identity of this game, right? You get a big lead. You're trying to make sure your quarterback doesn't get banged up, your receivers or whatnot, so you run the football. They also had a good performance against the Steelers, I believe. They went for like 150 or something like that.
That was their last 100-yard rushing game. You pointed that out last week.
Yeah, is it concerning that it's against the same team? No. Is it telling? Yeah, Cardinals' run defense ain't good. And but I also think the identity of this game was a bit different. I don't know if this is the most rushing attempts they've had all year, but I want to say if it's not the most, it's probably the second most, 46 times. I mean, if you rush the ball 46 times, your numbers should be up around 200, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, would you like to see it against another team? For sure. Would you like to see it against the Rams? Most definitely. But as long as the run game still influences defense, you're going to be okay. As long as you get inside the 10 and you're able to punch it in, whether it's a barnyard, whether it's Halani, whether it's Charbonnet or K9, you're good.
I want to talk about that part. The 206, another 206 says explosive play rate hasn't been seen since the greatest show on turf, and that was a legit cupcake schedule. When I hear, I think I'll say like national voices, a few national voices talk about the Seahawks run game, it is very understandably, and I've done it too, spoken about as like, okay, the one negative you can say about them, right? It's kind of like, okay, here's the wrinkle in terms of what they're doing, but everything else is solid. So it's very much a negative. In theory, I agree. I mean, they have a negative DVOA in terms of their like rush game. Like their run game, in theory, by advanced analytics, is not great. However, you talk about those attempts. You could argue that their commitment to the run, while it is not resulting in an incredibly effective, like, yards gained on the ground type run game, is very much impacting their success in the pass game. Like, they are a 50-50 split when it comes to runs and passes this year.
Yeah, I've been yelling that all year. Like, if you watch just, and I'm going to talk about why the play action is so effective in 4 down 2. If you just watch what linebackers and defensive linemen do during play action, that tells you the run game is effective. Is it effective numbers-wise? No, not the way you would like it. Are they efficient when they get inside the 5 and punch it in with the run? Yeah. Are they efficient in short yardage with the run? Yeah. I mean, that is just who this team is right now. You still had a 30-yard run by Charbonnet, a 24-yard run by K9. It pops every now and then. We want more out of it because you feel like this team isn't complete until you see a 100-yard game by K9 or Zach Charbonnet. And I understand that. I think we're going to see it eventually. But as long as you're getting the reaction from the D-line and from that second level that you are getting, the run game is doing what it's supposed to do. As long as you're being able to punch it in when you're inside the 5 or the 10, the run game is doing what it's supposed to do. Explosive game is coming. I firmly believe that because of the commitment, because you're going to get so many knocks at it. You're going to get so many tries that running the football because it's split, like you mentioned. 46 times they ran the ball yesterday. So, no, I'm still waiting on that big game. But trust me when I say this, the run game is the most effective it's been in a long time.
This is why I felt like your point guard on this play, because I was like, you've been saying all year long, hang on, there is a benefit that you're seeing from the commitment to it. It's about the commitment to it. It's about the looks they're drawing from defenses. And I think that with folks that are maybe only tuning in to a primetime game from Seattle or watching a half or watching highlights, and they're only looking at a box score that says, oh, you haven't had a 100-yard rusher since week 2, they're really not seeing that. They're not seeing how it's influencing defenses. I'm sure Mike Macdonald would love for them to be able to, on average, gain more yards on the ground. Sure, 1,000%. But to pretend it's a massive weakness or a thing that can be wholly exploited, I think is also a little misguided.
Look, you're averaging more rush yards than the Rams. They're a good football team. You're averaging more rush yards than the Eagles. They're a good football team. There are different ways to win this. I know that we're used to looking at the run game being dominated with really good teams and saying, all right, that's how you win ball games. And you do. Like Detroit Lions, good run game, 136 yards per game. Baltimore Ravens, good run game, 137 yards per game. The Colts, 145. And they're winning ball games, but you're winning ball games too. And I think you're winning more ball games just because of the play action. There are different ways to do this. I think eventually you're going to want to and see a big performance by K9 or Zach Charbonnet. But just watch the film, man. The LBs are flowing. They are flowing because you have to respect the personnel and the rush attempts.